Hello, welcome to Darasa Online. My name is Mr. Kileo Davidson Abubakar. I am a geography teacher. Today we are going to learn or to start about the space dynamic as a topic, and we will focus much on its subtopic of climate change. Okay, so before continue, let me make a simple summary of the previous lesson. Regarding the space dynamic. We spoke about what we call the different concept of weather and the climate. We have seen what is weather, what is climate. We have seen the element of weather. We were focused much on what we call the insolation, factor affecting the temperature of an area, what we call the lapse rate, the temperature inversion. Remember, those are the key concepts regarding the first part of our topic on space dynamic, and it's very important that you understood them very well, because remember, those parts I've mentioned are the part which are concerning with essay questions. Today we are going to see what is climatic change. Thereafter we will see the model questions directly regarding our subtopic today. So what is climatic change? Climatic change refers to the situation or the process whereby different places over the Earth's surface mark different climatic condition. Are we together? Different places over the land surface mark the different climatic condition. Let's see the model question relating to our subtopic today. We have the model question right here. It says, in 7 points, explain why different area on the Earth shown different climatic condition. It means right here the question needs us to explain why different area on the Earth's surface shown different climatic condition. It means the question needs us to explain why there is a variation of climate in different areas. It means why different area mark or shown different climatic condition. It means the question needs to explain factors. To explain factors for climate change. Are we together? It means it needs us to explain factor for climate change. It means factor for climate change right here, it needs us to explain the causes. Causes of what? Of the climatic change. Oh, so the following are the causes for what? For the climatic change. The first factor will be the latitude position. The latitude, what class? The latitude position. So as I've said, there are areas on the Earth's surface that have been located to different latitude, where later it may result to the variation of different climatic conditions. For instance, we have areas located at a low latitude. We have area located at mid latitude, south and north of the equator, and we have area located at high latitude. See, north and south of what? Of the equator. Most of the area located at the low latitude, for instance, at 0 degree right here at the low latitude, see, most of the time they record high temperature, you see, in terms of its climatic condition. While area located at the higher latitude, for instance, at the polar area, most of these areas they located, they experience the cold temperature or climatic climatic condition. So as you can see, what causes the variation of temperature between this area? It means the variation of temperature being caused by what? By the latitude position of an area. Area located in this latitude have experienced this type of climatic condition, while area located at this latitude have experienced this type of what? Of climatic condition. So the first factor or the first causes of climate change is what we call the latitude position. As remember, going back, why this area has low temperature, while this area right here is high temperature, is we can explain by looking at what we call the angle for exposure towards the land. Okay, it means this is our sun. It emits the solar energy traveling to reach the what? The Earth's surface. So it means area over the land surface which will receive the temperature or the solar energy at right angle, right here. The solar energy will be reached at right angle. Here we will assume very high temperature. That's why at the equator we have what we call the hot temperature. While area located at the pole, it means right here the heat energy will be received not at right angle, it will be tangent angles. So right here we will receive cold, or the cool what? the cool temperature, right? That's why we say area located at the low latitude, they will experience high temperature in terms of climate condition, while area located at the pole, they will record or they will experience what we call the cold temperature. So that is what we call our first factor. Let's go to the second factor. Second factor, we are talking about the distance of the Earth. Distance of the Earth from the Sun. See, it means distance of the Earth from the Sun. It means we are talking about two periods right here. We are talking about aphelion as well as a perihelion. Are we together, class? Because the aphelion, it is the fastest. It's the period where the Earth is farthest away from the Sun. It's about 152 million kilometers. While the perihelion is the period where the Earth right here, it is nearest to the Sun at about 147 million kilometers. So it means during aphelion, which occur on July 7th each year, right here, we will experience, because it is far away from the Sun, we will experience a cold temperature, see, on the Earth. While during the perihelion, right here, where the the Earth right now, it is nearest to the Sun at about 147 million kilometers. It means at this period or at this time, it is the time or this period where right here we will experience what we call the hot what? Climatic condition in terms of temperature, and it occur on January 4th each year. So as you can see, so it depends on the distance of the Earth from the Sun. So during aphelion, it means where the Earth is farthest away from the Sun at about 152 million kilometers, it is the period where we will experience the cool temperature. Why? Because the Earth is farthest away from the Sun. During perihelion, it is the period where the Earth right now will experience the increase in temperature. See, the hot condition. Why? Because right here the Earth is near to the Sun. See, so this is another factor. So let's see another factor or another causes length of the day. We have another cause, we call it the length of the what? Length of the day. So listen to me very careful. I will explain this by relating what we call the northern hemisphere as well as the southern hemisphere. See? So we will see. During the summer, they say during the summer in the northern hemisphere days are longer than night. While during the summer at the southern hemisphere days are shorter than night. So what happened? It means during the summer in the northern hemisphere, because days are longer than night, it means we will experience hot temperature. See? It means at the southern hemisphere during the summer, because days are shorter than night, it means right here we will experience the cool temperature. See why? Because days are shorter than night. This is during the summer. During the winter, it means during the winter at the northern hemisphere, days are shorter than night, while at the southern hemisphere, days are longer than night. So what happened? It means during the winter at the northern hemisphere, because days are shorter than night, it means right here we will experience the cool or the cold temperature. You see, while during, at the southern hemisphere, during what? During winter, it means days are longer than night. It means at this point right here, we will experience the hot or the warm condition in terms of temperature than at the northern hemisphere. So we say it depends on the length of the day. So it is either during the summer or during the winter, depending on either it is the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. See, as you can see right here, these are different areas. They experience different temperature or climatic condition over a specific period of time. Let's see another factor. The installation rate. So it depends on the installation rate of a given area. Remember, when you say installation, it means we refer to the amount of heat energy received by the Earth. So insolation refers to the amount of solar energy received by the Earth from the sun. So the amount of solar energy received by the Earth from the sun, we call it the insolation. So remember, the insolation differ from different areas. So the area which we will receive, the higher the insolation, it means it will mark what? It will mark the higher the temperature. Are we together? While the area which will receive lower insolation, you see, it will also mark the lower the temperature of an area. So insolation can be one among the causes of what? Of the climatic condition of a given area, because the insolation, as I said, will refer to the amount of solar energy received by what? By the Earth from the sun. So what happened? It means we have different factors affecting the insolation. You have seen, you have studied it at your school. So those factors which are affecting the insolation will also affect the temperature of an area as a factor or element of the climate. Are we together? That's why we say different area may mark different temperature condition by considering temperature, you see, as part of the climatic conditions. That's why you say the amount of solar energy received by the Earth from the sun, we call it the insolation. So the insolation rate of a given area may be the causes of what we call the variation of climate of a given area. We have another factor right here. The composition of the atmosphere. The composition of what? Of the atmosphere, or the atmospheric composition. It means right here we are talking about different material that compose, that made the Earth. See, remember, not the Earth, the atmosphere. The atmosphere is made up of different material. We have gases. We have dust particulate matter. See, we have water droplets, where we found what we call clouds, raindrops, etc. So we have a lot of material that comprise the atmosphere. So what happened? We said these materials, they may either affect one or other ways to climatic change over the area. For instance, most of these materials, they may lead what to call the reflection, for instance, of the heat energy traveling from the sun to reach this. Or sometimes they may call what we call the scattering, see, of the heat energy traveling from this, from the sun to the Earth. Or they may call what we call the absorption. Are we together? So if the three processes, they may occur as a result of the presence of different materials that compose the atmosphere, automatically may affect the what? The climatic condition of a given area of the Earth's surface. That's why we say it depends. See, sometimes the presence of material at the atmosphere, they may result to either increase or decrease of the temperature of an area. Are we together? For instance, the presence of ozone layer. Ozone layer, see, which acts as a blanket or shield for reducing the ultraviolet rays which travel from the sun to reach the Earth. Remember, as the ozone layer right now deplete, see, once it depletes, it means we will get to, or we assume the increase in what? In temperature of an area. See? So this is one among the composition of the atmosphere. If not deplete, it means there will be no increase in temperature of the area. So as you can see, we have different materials that compose the Earth, where at the end, they may either result to the increase in temperature or not increase in what? In temperature of a given area, which later will mark the variation of temperature or climatic condition of a different area over the Earth's surface. We have another factor. Human activities. You see, this is another factor. We know human activity, both positive and negative roles, see, may cause the variation of climate over an area. We all know that we are human beings, so we do a lot of activities that may either affect the land, see, which later will result to the variation of different climatic conditions of different areas. For instance, I'm talking about the positive and negative roles. It means we have what we call the deforestation. We have what we call the bushfires. See? Overgrazing, bombing, explosion. See? During mining, road construction. We have a lot of human activities that may result to either they may result to either the variation of what? Of climate of a given area. They may lead to the positive climatic change or the negative climatic change. See, as we have right here, and I know you have come across this point in so many subtopics of geography, either from Form 2, Form 3, as well as the Form 4. So you can be able to explain, for instance, how deforestation may lead to drought, how deforestation may result to low or little rainfall over a given area, bushfires, overgrazing, bombing, explosion, mining, etc., etc. So these are some of the factors that may result in the variation of temperature, the climatic condition of a given area. Remember, most of the time, for instance, if we do deforestation without planting the new one, the new trees, it means right here we will experience the drought. Are we together? Why? Because we have cut down the trees without replacing them. We call it the deforestation. So during deforestation, if the area we will experience more deforestation or the higher rate of deforestation than afforestation or reforestation, then we expect little or no rainfall in that area. Are we together? So if there will be no or little rainfall in that area, it means that area right now will mark a different climatic condition with respect or in relation to other areas which may be experienced or have a dense forest. See, there is no deforestation. Are we together? So we may take human activity as what? As one among the causes for what? For the today's subtopic of climate what? Climate change. Okay, because the question asks in 7 points explain why different areas on this show different climatic conditions. So this is the 6 point. Let's finish with the 7 points. See, angle of the exposure of the sun towards the land. It means right now we are talking about the inclination angle of the heat energy, which travel from the sun to the land. So listen to me very carefully. We said area which received, see, the solar energy at right angle. At right angle, most of this area, they tend to assume higher temperature. While most of the area which receive the heat energy, for instance, which travel from the sun to reach the earth at less than right angle, for instance, at the polar area, most of this area they may assume, or they tend to assume, the very low temperature. So as you can see, it depends the angle of exposure of the sun, or the inclination angle of the heat energy which travel from the sun to reach the earth may affect the climatic condition of a given area, as you have seen right here. Let me show by using the diagram right here. we have this area right here and area right here. See? It means this is our sun. It emits the solar energy which travel to reach this. So it depends on the inclination angle of the heat energy which travel from the sun to reach the earth. It means area around this point right here, they receive the solar energy at right angle. While area around this point right here at the pole, they receive heat energy at less than right angle. So we expect right here, this area we assume very low temperature. While right here we will assume very high what? Temperature. Let us end here, then we will come back and we will talk about the impact of the variation of climate of a given area. Remember, the question asked to explain 7 points, but we have more than 7 points. Are we together? So I'm going to leave you as a question, as a quiz, that explain more other points that may be the causes for what? For the climate change. Welcome back to space dynamic. As I said, today we are going to speak much on what we call the climatic change. So we have the model question is our second part, or is our second question. It is written, in what ways are the climatic change hazardous to the environment? Explain with 6 points. So right here, in what ways are the climatic change hazardous? It means the question need hazardous, it means these are the negative thoughts. Are we together? It means we have to speak of the negative thought caused by what? By the climatic change, the variation of climate over the area. Are we together? It means the question needs us to explain what are the negative roles of the climate change. Right now we have different areas which have marked different climatic condition. So what happened? It means by referring to the question as the question needs, it needs us to explain in what way as the climatic change hazardous to the environment. As we know, environment is where we existed. The point on lands where we exist is what called the environment. It means we are talking about the surroundings. It means if you are talking about the surroundings, we are including the all living organism, plants, animal, and a man. Are we together? It means we are talking about what happened when there is a change of the climate of a given area, the variation of climate of a given area, which later may affect in a negative way the environment. So when you're talking about the environment, you're talking about the living things, plants, animal, as well as a man. Are we together? So let's see what are the ways in which the climate change may be hazardous to the environment. Climate change may be hazardous to the environment in the following ways. See, the change of the climate of a given area may result to one of the following. For instance, may result to what we call the global warming. You see, global warming refers to the gradual increase, the gradual or slowly increase of temperature over an area. You see, so the gradual increase of temperature of an area, we call it the global warming. It means right now we are talking about the slow increase in temperature over the area, where later will cause the warmer the land. It means we will assume the very high temperature over the area. So you will find during global warming, for instance, you will find no rainfall. Are we together? That's negative, no rainfall. Or there is little rainfall. It means if no rainfall, it means no agricultural activity. Are we together? No agricultural activity. So if no agricultural activity, it means right now people will start complaining. People, they will start shifting from one area to another area, seeking for what? For food. Why? Because there will be there will be shortage of what? Of food. So global warming is one among the climatic change that may be hazardous to the environment. Are we together? Because it may result to what? To the either little or no rainfall, which later may affect the agriculture what? Activities. That's one point. Another point, let's say there is a climatic change in terms of increase in what? In rainfall. More rainfall over the area. Are we together? It means we are going to get what we call floods. See? So floods, this may be hazardous to the environment, may affect the environment in a negative way. Why? During floods, it means there was destruction. Destruction of what? Of properties. See? It means we are talking about different properties that a human being may own them. See? Or may not own them. For instance, we are talking about the buildings, vehicles, bridges. See? We are talking about the farms. See? Etc., etc. This is a result of floods. But during floods, they may cause other effects. For instance, during floods, water sources may be destroyed. You see, during floods. So this is the one among the effects which are in a negative way, caused by what? By the change in the climate of a given area. Let's see another factors. Another negative impact the migration of people. Migration of what? Of peoples. See, as you can see, when there is a change in the climate of a given area, sometimes it may lead to what we call the migration of people. We know migration of people, it means we are talking about the movement of people from one region to another region in seeking of what we call the good living condition, for instance, or in seeking of good climatic condition for production of a certain activity. Are we together? It means right here, due to the change of the climate, for instance, from good climatic condition to the unfavorable or the bad climatic condition, people may move from one area to another area in seeking for what? For good climatic conditions so that they can run their activity in a good or in a normal way. For instance, what causes the migration of people? It means we are talking about for instance, the drought. Drought may result to the shifting of people from one place to another place. Why? Because during drought, it means the area will experience no rainfall, high temperature. Are we together? Stormy winds. The migration of people may be caused by the presence of famine and hunger. No food. See, there is a shortage of food supply. So if there is no food, it means people will be in a hunger situation. See, there will be famine right here. So what happened? It means people, they have to shift to the area where there is good climate condition in terms of rainfall, for instance, so that they can conduct other activity and engage in production activity where later they may improve their living standard. Are we together? This is maybe one among the hazards of the negative points caused by what we call the climatic change. Are we together? Apart from that, we are talking about the outbreak. May result to the outbreak of diseases. We are talking about the cholera. You see, diarrhea, skin cancer, see, etc., etc. These are some of the diseases caused by what? By the change in the climatic condition of a given area. When I'm talking about the cholera, it means, for instance, during high rainfall, see, during floods, it may either cause diarrhea, cholera, etc. But skin cancer may occur, for instance, during when you say there is increase in temperature of a given area, the area become too hot. It means sometimes there may be change in the situation of the skin of a living organism. See, so sometimes it may result to what we call the skin cancer, caused by what? By too much hot of a given area. Are we together? So this may be one among the negative factors caused by what? By the climatic change. Okay, we have another factors. Political instability. It means there is a political unstable. What happened? It means sometimes people, they may force to shift from one area to another area. See? So if people, they may force to shift from one area to another area, it means it may lead to what we call the political stability. Example, the occurrence of what we call the civil war. People, they want to shift from maybe from good area, good climatic. I mean, people, they want to shift from poor climatic area to good climatic area so that they can run their normal daily activity. Are we together? We call it the political stability. So the climatic change may result to what we call the political instability of a given area. As we have seen, different area, people, they shift maybe to different area. Why? Because as you can see, at their home places or the home of the origin, maybe they have what we call poor climatic condition. Poor climatic condition. It means no rainfall, too much temperature. Are together? No rainfall, too much temperature. Then these people, right now, they want to shift from their home of origin to where they may find a good climatic condition. Are we together? So they may force. So if they force, sometimes it may happen. It means it may happen what we call the civil war, and we call it the political instability. See, we have a lot of refugees which move. They are homeless people. They move from their home to another's home, place, or country's place for seeking of what? Food, shelter, and good area where they can stay there, they can conduct their daily activity. Are we together? This is one among the factors which say the climate change can be hazardous to the environment. Can be hazardous in what? They may lead to different factors that they may cause the instability of a given area. Are we together? Another factor is shortage of food and the water supply. See, we have seen, for instance, the change in climatic condition of a given area may result to what we call the global warming, for instance, or global warming may result to what we call the drought. So what happened? It means because drought may affect the agricultural activity, it means right now we may result to what we call the shortage of food. See, the increase in temperature over the area, for instance, the increase in hot condition over the area may result to what is called the drought. Drought may affect also what we call the water supply. It means there will be no accessible supply of water. We are talking about the clean water, see, for different purpose. This is the shortage of food and water supply. But also the change in climatic condition of a given area may result to worsening drought and change in stormy wind, or the occurrence of storm wind, for instance, the tornadoes, the hurricane. You see, tornado, hurricanes, typhoon. These are the storm winds caused by the variation of climatic condition of a given area. We all know in area of cyclones, especially the tropical cyclones, it's where we experience what we call the tornadoes, the hurricane, as well as the typhoons. These are the storm wind which may affect a given area. For instance, typhoons, this is found in China, and it occurred in, from July to October. We have tornado, which occurs mostly in the USA country, United States. We have the hurricane. It occurs in most of the West Indies and the Caribbean islands. You see? So most of these storm winds, they may be occurred as a result of what we call the variation of the climatic change. It means the change in climate of a given area may result to either the occurrence of the storm wind or weathering drought, which later we all know the negative effect of this climatic characteristic of a given place. So I'm going to leave you some questions as what? As a quiz, and I'll need you to attempt them so that you can be in a good position as you are preparing for the next exams. Are we together? Or any examination that you may be faced along your way. Let's see ways on which the climate change can be controlled. So we have seen the negative impacts or the negative effects of the climate change. See, when there is a change of climate of a given area may result to either positive or negative results. Are we together? So we have seen some of the negative results of the climatic change. So let's see how are we going to control the occurrence of the ways on which the climatic change can be controlled. You see, the negative climatic ways can be handled. So we are going to say mass education. Mass education can be provided on the importance so the first factor is mass education should be provided to people, see, so that they can know the importance of maintaining the environment. Are we together? Because once you maintain the environment in a positive way, it's where you are going to cause no change of the climate. You are going to maintain the climatic condition of a given area in a good way. Are we together? Or in a sustainable way. Then we say the inaction of law. Inaction of laws to the lawbreakers. See, there should be the inaction of law through different forces. It means we should implement law in such a way that we may be able to maintain the environment and the climate for sustainable future use. Are we together? It means laws should be enacted. There will be the enforcement of laws to prevent people from disturbing the environment. Are we together? Because remember, once you disturb the environment, it means it may result to what we call the climatic change. For instance, you cut down the trees without planting the new one, it means you cause what we call the drought. It means if there will be drought, there will be no rainfall or little rainfall. So little rainfall will result to the shortage of what? Of food and the water supply. Are we together? So once you enact the law to the lawbreakers, it means there will be no deforestation right here. There will be no drought. There will be no shortage of food and water supply. Are we together? So we have to enact the law. Apart from enacting the law, but we should also promotion of different policies on environmental conservation and the management. You see, it means promotion of different policies on environmental conservation and management. What does it mean? It means right here we have to make sure we formulate different policies that will promote the conservation of the environment as well as the good management of the environment. Are we together? It means at this point we will be able to avoid the negative impact caused by what? By the climatic change. For instance, we have seen a lot of negative roles played by a human being or by a man, which may result to the change in the climate of a given area into a negative ways. Are we together? So once we make the formulation of different policies based on the sustainable use in a positive way of the environment, it means right now we maintain the environment in a good way. Are we together? We may conserve the environment We may protect the future use of our environment for not avoiding of the climate change in a negative way. See, government support as well as research should be done. It means government may support different researchers, different environmentalists, see, which give their time for, which give their time on what? On the environment issues. These people, they are dealing with the environment. So the government should make sure they give support in terms of the financial, in terms of material, etc. So once these people, they engage much in focus much on their study on issues relating to environment, it means they may be easy to maintain what they are doing. Are we together? Where at the end we may reach to the positive goals of maintaining the climate in a good way, so that we may avoid the negative impact caused by the climate change. From the beginning to this point, I'm going to round up the lesson today. We have discussed about the climate change. We have seen the factors or the causes for the climate change. Together, we have seen the impact. The negative impact of the climate change is the question asked, and we have the ways on which the climate change can be controlled. Remember, sometimes the climate of a given area may be occurred as the result of the natural factors. We have, for instance, the storm wind. We have seen the tornadoes, the hurricanes. So sometimes we may not be able to control them, but in different ways, we may act upon the climate and reduce the impact. Are we together? That's why we say we have ways on which the climate change can be controlled, but cannot be stopped sometime. As we have seen some of the storm winds I have mentioned there, the hurricanes, the typhoon, the tornadoes. See, those are the natural occurrings, storm winds caused by what we call the tropical cyclones. Thank you very much for being there, for listening, for watching. Welcome again to Darasa Online. Until the next time, you are most welcome.